Hey everybody, Frank here, Godzilla Island for the Mazer Squad with a review of Kaiju Score Volume 2, Steal from the Gods. Now, I just recently reviewed Volume 1. It was really one of my favorite Kaiju novels that I have, graphic novels that I've read recently. It was really fun, fast-paced, great human characters. Main character in that was Marco, and we saw this character, Michelle, who was posing as this safecracker, Gina. Well, this story does not follow Marco, but it does follow Michelle. It's a absolutely incredible follow-up. Last we saw the last Kaiju Score story. It ended with Michelle telling Marco about a bullet train heist, and she was going to go for a swim, and when she got back, she wanted his answer. This book starts off right away from that bullet train heist. Marco is not part of it. He shot it down. After the glory of the previous heist, he had nothing left to prove to everybody in the game. So she does the bullet train heist. It goes fairly smooth, and she gets betrayed by one of the members. A gang had sent somebody to kind of rat them out and double cross her, and shoot off the guy. Here's some of the awesome art of Rem Broo. They do a whole skydive off a bridge from the bullet train, and yeah, she blows this guy's brain out. She gets home, and after taking off and getting her cut, she gets home and somebody's in her house waiting for her, Javier, with a proposal for a heist involving a kaiju again, and she's basically telling him to screw off the whole time. She's got absolutely no intention of doing the job. He even offered the job to Marco, but like I said, he retired, is out of the game. And then he tells her this whole story about these ancient kaiju, and how they brought, one was destruction and the other one brought balance. This one's the bad guy, and this giant squid-like thing is the good guy, per se. It's Prodatu and Stataron. Really cool story about super ancient kaiju, and he shows her this gold coin and says that in Russia, Prodatu and Stataron are still there frozen in ice from their last battle, but inside Prodatu's stomach is this gold from this ancient civilization that was aboard a Spanish ship that Prodatu swallowed, and it's still in there because it's a desert track, and he wants her to infiltrate this base, get in there and get the gold, and she shoots it down at first, and then things go awry. That guy that rat her out, the guy that was the mole for the gang, basically the gang is not happy that she killed him, and now they have a hit out on the entire gang, and they can't afford to pay off the hitman to reverse the hit on him, so she's giving no choice but to take the gig. And the crew doesn't want to do it, but either they're dead from the hitman or they're dead from this job. So if they have the success, they're rich and they survive, and they can pay off the hitman to kill Carlito, or they're just going to be on the run for the rest of their lives. So they take the job. Really cool story, fast-paced action. I love that we get a lot of Michelle in here. We really get to see how her character has grown so much from the previous issue. In here we see TG the gardener. He's a man of many trades, but he's a great gardener, and he's literally her gardener, but he's also part of her crew. He's one of the main members of her crew that we see a lot. I feel like the crew from the previous story had a lot more characters that like kind of grew on you. They're like, this crew is a crew of 4 once again, but like they don't really stand out. So they agree to infiltrate this Russian base, and they go to this whole snow lodge, and they meet up, and they kind of get the whole lowdown on the ideas and how it's run. They give the whole layout of the base, and they say that this is only one guy besides the commander of the base that could get in, and it requires a retina scan. So they plan this whole bank heist, because every day one of the guys that works there, well, every once a month he goes there to cash his checks. So they plan this whole bank heist, and the guy he's kind of talking to him, and then they point the gun at his eye, but the gun is actually a retina scanner. This heist does not go that well. They get chased and they accidentally drop the gun that was part of the retina scan. They go back and they pick it up, but Michelle gets shot, a couple of people get wounded once again, but they made it out with that retina scan, and now they can infiltrate the base. Things get arranged, they make it to the base to pose as the scientists that were supposed to be there, but they had been intercepted early on and whatnot. So this doctor who does work on the base, who was their other inside man, gets them in, they infiltrate it, but we find out as they infiltrate this base that this doctor isn't who they say it is, and Javier is a cultist. He intends to have the two monsters woken, mainly Prodathu, to bring about the end of the world so that it could start anew. So his inside man betrays TG, shoots him, kills off everybody in the command center, and while they're in there collecting the gold from the ship, they begin to wake up Prodathu, and they get out of there, and the base is just in a complete, utter chaos. They lose one of their members, Glover. He was kind of like the comedic relief. He was a funny guy. I felt like we didn't get a lot of development out of him, though. Like I said, I felt like this crew we did not see as much of. He dies, and Michelle's like, well, there's another failure because I lost a crew member. She takes the loss of a crew member as a failure, and she's assuming TG is dead because the inside man told her that he killed her. So here's Prodathu, pretty badass looking monster. It's got this giant mouth of a fiery stomach here, big horns, and he's gigantic. There's a lot bigger than our previous kaiju. So they decide they can't just call us the end of the world now, so they're gonna go back into the base and wake up Stataron. Michelle gets back into the base really quick, despite all the destruction. Turns out TG's bulletproof vest took most of the shots, and he's actually good. He's just got some minor bullet wounds, nothing catastrophic. So they load up the gold, and they wake up Stataron, and they begin to flee the base, and she calls up Javier to be like, listen man, I know you betrayed us, you made us out for fools, and I'm gonna come kill you after this is all done and we survive. So they escape the base narrowly. There's this whole collapsing ice, and things fall in. They almost lose another crew member, Glover here. I got the name wrong of the other one. Glover is he's the one that kind of is like the new Michelle in this one. He's kind of like hesitant about his job. They almost lose him, but they save him. Stataron and Prodathu fight. Pretty cool designs. Basically the fight ends after Prodathu gets injured from Stataron, and he returns to the ocean. So the two monsters are still alive. And of course Marco makes a couple cameos in here. He's there. He decides to come to Russia after shooting down Michelle and taking the job too, but he's like, I saw there's some chaos, and he's like, I wanted to make sure he got out safe, so he flies a plane there. So it's nice to see Marco. Made a couple brief cameos in this. We even see Blackie, who funded the last job. He helped them out on this one too. He funded the payment to the hitman to kind of counter, but yeah. So then Javier's got a new house, he's hiding, and the hitmen find him quickly and kill him. So Michelle gets her revenge, and it ends. She's got a seat on this new council that's gonna keep order among the thieves and heist crews. TG and Glover said they don't want to be part of it, that's not their path. And it ends, she shows up at this council meeting. Blackie's on the council, a couple of these other members that I've never seen before, and that's how it ends. She kind of becomes like a head of the heist game and kind of keeps order of it. Some really cool covers. This one was much different than the first Kaiju Score. I enjoyed this one a lot. I really like Michelle as a character. She's like a badass, clearly a very sexy character. Awesome monster designs. Definitely felt like very Hollywoody, like having these two back to back. Like if you saw these as movies, it would be really cool, especially the second one, seeing the cameos from Marco and even Blackie making his appearance. Definitely absolutely great series. I really hope we get like maybe a volume 3, so we get a nice trilogy. In the opening to this, there's a whole explanation from the writer James Patrick saying, you know, when he had wrote Kaiju Score 1, he had no intention of doing a follow-up, but he just couldn't get the idea or Michelle out of his head, so he's like, listen, I'm gonna write her story. And he did it. We saw how she grew as a character. Really enjoyed this. I highly recommend you read both Volume 1 and Volume 2. Absolutely incredible. It's more human action than kaiju action, but when the kaiju do appear, they do have a big impact on the story. So definitely check it out, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think if you've read Kaiju Score already. And I'm really looking forward to see if Sony does make a movie of this. I mean, Sony bought the rights, and it sounds like they intended on doing it. So let's see. Well, will we get a Kaiju Score 1 and 2? Hopefully.